This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with a Lockpicker. Today's guest is CloudTheGreat99. Say hi.
Hello,
So, where are you from?
Oklahoma.
Okay. Have you lived there your whole life, or?
Yes, I did a brief stay in Montana, and that was fun, but I've pretty much been in Oklahoma my whole life.
Okay. So, does your name have some specific meaning? Cloud the Great?
That was actually my gamer tag, my Xbox gamer tag.
Ah, okay. All right. And you mentioned something about uh YouTube associated with that name.
Yes, so originally I wanted to make gaming videos on that on my channel, but I found that I didn't really enjoy it like I did other things,
Okay,
and
that's understandable.
yeah.
So, how did you get into lock sport?
Well, I am a maintenance man, and we needed to get into some mailbox locks. And I had seen some videos and stuff of lock picking and decided to try making some lock picks out of screws. Was actually able to get into the locks and was just addicted from there.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
Uh, Roundabouts a year ago.
Okay, so at what point did you move on from the screws as tools?
I got the Genesis set probably a few months after getting into those locks.
Okay, did that satisfy your need for a good chunk of time, or did you move to anything else? Add anything to the
Oh,
arsenal?
um, it definitely sufficed for a while, uh, as far as usability, but I collect as much as I can to anything to do with luck sport.
Okay.
So I've gotten a few sets since then.
Okay, now you mentioned to me that you like to collect jackknives. Can you explain that a little
Yes,
bit?
very much so. I'm a big EDC guy in general, and jackknives just took a hold of me. Uh, I love being able to carry them, and so far I've gotten almost all of the ones available on the market.
So we're talking lock picking jackknives, right?
Correct.
Okay. How many do you have?
Um, I don't have an exact number. I can tell you the ones I'm missing.
Okay. Uh let's hear that then.
Uh, I have not made it to the escort just because of price,
Okay.
and the red team tools one, the one they sell over there,
Okay. So,
are the only two I'm missing, I believe.
okay. What other tools have you utilized? You said you've picked up other tools, so I was quite kind of curious. What other kinds of tools
Shit.
have you picked up?
Uh, I started next with the Dangerfield Serenity set.
Okay. How did you like that?
I actually really enjoyed it. I was able to pick my first pack lock with the weird swoopy hook.
Okay. All right. Any other tools that you picked up that you've enjoyed using?
I recently got gifted a multi-pick set that I've really been enjoying,
Okay.
and even more recently than that, I've been gifted a bare bones set that I've
Oh,
really been enjoying,
cool. Okay.
especially the handles.
So, is this all been for like single pin picking, or I mean, picking tumbler locks, or have you moved on to any other types of locks as well?
Uh, Most of it has been regular pin tumbler, but I have moved on to a few dimple locks.
Okay, cool. So, what were some of the challenges that you faced when you were first learning lockpicking?
Definitely finding locks.
Yeah, I would
Um,
imagine.
I wasn't aware of the LPU bazaar and things like that for quite a while.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good place for definitely finding what you're needing. And so, are you? Have you been using um, the app that goes through all the different belts and locks in them, the different colors?
Yes, I've been loving the app.
Yeah,
Getting to
it's an awesome tool.
look up something right on the spot.
Awesome tool. They really outdid themselves doing that. You also mentioned that serrations were a pain for you.
Yes, and still are.
Okay, what are you doing to try and work around that hurdle?
I just really kind of focus on getting just one click at a time and kind of taking it slower than I normally would.
Okay,
Uh,
all right.
yeah,
So
I've, yeah,
okay, um, so you had different influences from YouTube when you were learning to pick. Who were your YouTube influencers?
definitely Lock Noob and Sandman.
Okay, what did you like about them in particular?
Sandman, or I can start with Sandman. He had all the tools and seemingly endless knowledge about uh, the past of lockpicking, the history of it that I wasn't around for. So it's nice getting to learn some of the history through that. Um, and then as far as Lock Noob, he's just so nice and concise, very clear, straightforward videos.
Yeah.
He helped a lot.
Okay. So in that they're in the community, how were you introduced to the community? How did you get into the community? Did someone really help direct you there, or did you find it by happenstance? Or
Um, I kind of stumbled upon Reddit and LPU, uh, but as far as on YouTube, I just put my belt ranking videos out there, and people found me and started encouraging me
okay, so you've enjoyed the community then. I think that's
immensely.
a pretty standard thing for most people, I believe. So, is there anything about yourself that you'd like to share with our audience that you'd like them to know about you?
Um, it it would be that I'm not a very outspoken uh, person. I'm fairly shy, uh,
That's all right.
and it's not always the easiest to make content, but I do want everyone to know that coming on this podcast has been uh, very fun and easy for me, even though I'm shy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I wish more people would understand that it's not. I'm not gonna pull any teeth out, and I'm not gonna hurt you. That it's. I do make it fun, and I do try to give us both a good laugh throughout the process. So, um,
Absolutely.
are you pursuing the belt ranking system?
Yes.
Okay, what are you at right now?
I I'm currently blue.
So what was that like for you? The journey, anyway, to get to blue.
Uh, it was. I jumped around quite a bit. Um, started as an orange belt, picking a master 150, and then jumped straight to blue with the Packlock 98 Pro. I wanted that patch.
Okay, there you go. And I'm assuming that then you also learned all about gutting in one fell swoop.
Yep,
Gutting and reassembly.
that was one long video.
Yeah. So you had to make a blue belt to get blue, or well, yeah, unless you're more currently a blue. But what was that experience like?
Uh, awesome. I take scrap lumber and sand and stain and clear coat and uh, make like almost a little mock door for deadbolts, and did all the pin shaping. And when I sent it out to that first person, I enjoyed the process so much that I ended up making 10 more of them and sending them out once
Okay,
started getting deeper into YouTube.
so you've made 11 challenge locks now.
Yes.
So what do you like the most about the process of making them? And better, even before that, how well received was your blue belt CL that you sent out? Since that was your first one, right? So how
Yeah.
how was that taken by the person you sent it to?
He loved it. All of the challenge locks that I've sent out, because I do so much on the housing, I tell them that they can keep it. I'd almost rather it that way.
Okay. So they're almost personalized to a certain degree.
Yeah. They get to pick the stain color and the trim color of the lock before I
Oh,
make it.
all right. Then we need to talk after this.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, you said that you mentioned about the original reason for your channel is that you were doing your belt videos. Um, what has your channel, well, where has your, as of today, how do you feel your channel has been beyond the belt videos? I mean, because that's really the reason you first started, but we all kind of go from there. What's that been like for
Right.
you?
Um, well, right now, my my goal is still just continuing the path to purple. Uh,
Okay,
I'm I'm also reviewing all the jackknives that I can possibly get my hands on,
cool.
and then you know, many more lockpicks and CLs to come.
Okay, so that's a little insight into what the future of your channel holds, so to speak. So, um, okay. Is there anything else you want to do with your channel that you haven't done yet?
Um, Not as of now.
Okay.
I've got a lot in the works, but I'm very happy with where I am.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. So you mentioned that you do maintenance work, that you work for, I think you mentioned that you work for a housing authority. Um, what other kind of weird stuff comes up where lock sport or locksmithing comes in handy?
Oh man. People will put locks on all sorts of things you wouldn't believe.
Like what?
Uh, Cabinet doors and extra handles on bathroom doors and locks that aren't supposed to be there, and then they move out, and we have to get into them.
Yeah.
And cars. I've had to get into quite a few cars.
Really? That's very cool. Um, so and that's within maintenance work? Getting into cars?
Uh, it's no, it's not under our job description,
Okay. Okay.
definitely, but that I can't deny someone when they're asking for help, or at
No,
least
no, of
try.
course not. I think that's awesome. Okay. So, what other hobbies and interests do you have other than lock sport?
I very much enjoy playing guitar and doing metal or harsh vocals.
What does that mean?
Uh, well, screaming for a lack of better word, but controlled screaming.
Okay. So is that for like for metal? Is that you said
Yes.
metal? Okay. So you mentioned to me because we're both into guitars. I think we had that bit of a chat in the pre-interview as well. You
Yeah.
started with classical guitar, and you started out really young though.
Yes. About 7 years old.
Okay. And so you've been playing for what, 27 years?
Uh, 17 years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's impressive. Um, I haven't been playing for very long, and I've got a long way to go. So I wouldn't call myself very good at it, but I'm trying. So I know the biggest problem I have is saying no to looking at and buying new guitars. So that's an ongoing problem
Oh
for
my
me.
goodness. Yes.
I'm looking for my next 12 string. So um you mentioned also building picks, that you build picks. Is
Yes.
that beyond the ones
Uh,
you were talking about when you first got started? So have you like built handles and all that too?
oh yes. So the start of my building after I got fairly deep into lock sport was finding old butter knives and steak knives that people had left in their apartments when they moved out.
Oh
And I
wow.
would shape those into picks, and I still do that, but I also have started using feeler gauge and making handles out of wood, and uh, I've been really enjoying that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I tried that with steak knives, and my wife actually went out and went crazy at the thrift stores and came back with like multiple bags of steak knives that I had to go through with a caliper and check to see what the thickness was on each one of them, and then kind of sort them into different thickness groups. I never really
Oh
did
yeah,
get back around to actually making picks out of them because I got more into making picks out of other materials. But yeah, I had that bug for a very short time. So,
sometimes it takes hours to get them
oh
thin
yeah,
enough to be usable.
yeah, that and on the wheel and dipping it all the darn time, every other second. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. So I wanted to get this. This is one of those questions where people like to really go into and talk about who would you like to give thank yous to out there, to, to other lock sporters that really kind of helped you out, and are there any noteworthy lock sporters that you'd like to mention as well?
Absolutely. Um, Firstly, I would like to thank Rock Out with Your Lockout and Lady Locks for specifically for convincing me to do this. Uh, it's been an awesome experience, and they are both amazing people that I
Yes.
believe have both been on your show.
Yep. No, Lady Lux and I are good friends.
And I would also like to thank Snake for always supporting me and for donating tools and knowledge for a meetup that I hope to be creating soon.
Cool.
And then,
You are getting out of your comfort zone.
yes,
That's a good thing. Always a good thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go
mm,
ahead.
oh, you're fine. Finally, I would like to thank Lock Saga for being probably my best friend in Lock Sport and a very unconventional mentor.
How was the unconventional?
Oh my goodness, you'd have to meet him.
Okay. All
But
right.
don't worry, I plan on sending him your way.
Good. The more the merrier. So, were there any noteworthy lock sporters you'd like to mention, that really kind of maybe shaped what you decided to do or what direction you decided to go?
Yes, I've got 2 smaller channels and 2 bigger channels, if that's okay.
Sure.
Um, Dizzy Picks and Humboldt Picker are the 2
Humboldt.
smaller channels
Yep.
that, I just love those guys. They're awesome.
Okay.
Uh, and 2, bigger channels would be C Stu Do
Yep.
and Lock Noob.
C Studio is a local to me in Michigan, and hopefully I'm hoping we're gonna get together here soon at some point. That's what we're trying to work out, I think.
Um,
So
that'll be awesome.
yeah. Well, we did his interview live. He came to the studio and recorded in studio, so that was a lot of fun. That was the first time I'd ever recorded in studio with someone from Locksport. So that was awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay. So before we so I guess as a last question, what is your favorite thing about Locksport?
Definitely building things and the community that surrounds it. Um, I wouldn't be making videos if I wasn't as inspired and encouraged as I've been from the community.
Yeah. No, I get that. Definitely understand that one. Is there a final message you'd like to give to our audience before we wrap up?
Uh, just to thank you to everyone. Thank you to you for having me on your show,
Of
and
course.
that I am doing a giveaway on my channel if you want to give it a look.
All right. Okay, well, definitely go and check out Cloud the Great 99's channel. The link will be in the video in this description of this interview for the video. Check it out and enter his giveaway. But I do want to say my last little piece before we sign off. If you have not been interviewed yet, why not? Come get interviewed. I make it fun, or try to make it fun anyway. And I try to make it a good experience, and it's painless. I promise. be part.
I
Be
can contest.
see, and be part of the Locksport archive. I mean, that's kind of what it's become. So let's hear from you. So with that, I am going to wrap this one up. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thank you for listening.